If you've been trying to micromanage or like control yourself to get out of an anxious state, an ADHD state, an OCD state, what you're doing, like the micromanagement, the control that you're trying to force upon your mind is probably the thing that is making you more anxious or more distracted. And most people are going to recommend like journaling or certain phone apps or medications or whatever in order for somebody to be able to shift the way that they are thinking and perceiving in the moment. But today's video is about a completely different tactic, and it's about why what you have been doing is actually exacerbating the problem. Like, it's prolonging it. It's putting you in a fight or flight mode. And a good way to think about this is like you're like being an over-controlling parent or a school principal to yourself, right? You're being really hard on yourself. You might not be able to focus. You might be anxious. You might be dealing with internal mental conflict. But what I'd like for you to understand is that when you look at and like experience that within your mind, this conflict, and then you're saying, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. Like, this is a problem. There's something wrong with you. No matter what you're specifically saying to yourself and you're judging yourself about, that's just putting you into even more of a problem-focused state. It's literally putting your amygdala in a fight or flight response, right? You're saying, I'm going to solve this problem of me overthinking or of me not being able to focus by focusing on it and by judging myself and by saying that I shouldn't be experiencing life in this way. I shouldn't be this way as a person. You can see how you just added more problems onto the initial problem. But I put this in quotes, problem, because you don't actually have a problem, in my opinion. I've gone through many years, decades of anxiety, ADHD, OCD. I was always in my head. I was living life in autopilot mode, and it was very painful. And for so long, I looked at what was arising within my mind. I was experiencing life in this way, and I said, well, there's something wrong, right? So I got medication and things like that. I started to do personal development, and I just did whatever I could in order for me to be able to try to change my state of mind. And like the way that I saw myself, the way that I worked and everything, right? Because at that time, I saw it as a problem. Again, the big realization, the epiphany that you can have is that there's actually no problem here. And to dive deeper into that, what I can say is that you're a human being. All human beings, every single human being, has negative thoughts. Maybe some, maybe you just have negative thoughts more than others, okay? But it's normal, right? It's the thinking that is controlling your focus, right? So if this is like an ADHD thing, you're having trouble focusing, understand that it's just the thinking sort of going all over the place from topic to topic. You're a human being. You're allowed to think these thoughts. And instead of you going into this sort of panic mode and judging yourself and thinking of all of this as such a big problem that you're struggling with and that, it's so hard to overcome, like you can see how that could be built up into your mind to be this huge thing that's weighing on your shoulders. We can understand that all of that is simply mental activity arising within the present moment, right? When you have trouble focusing on something, when you have anxiety, it's because you're thinking about a certain topic. And then maybe for the focus issue, you're thinking about other topics and other topics and other topics. No matter what's going on with you, even you judging yourself, it's simply you thinking thoughts. And you're very identified with those thoughts, and that's normal, right? But what's happening is that people sort of go in this downward spiral because they have these thoughts and they're doing things that just don't help those thoughts, although they're trying to help themselves to think better. When really what we can do is we can have self-acceptance and compassion and just this very real realization that like all you're doing is within this present moment. This one, you are just thinking thoughts. You are just experiencing emotions. You're being a human. You are a human. Like, there's all of these labels that you could place upon yourself, but that's just you thinking more things, right? I want you to realize, like, it's happening right now. You don't need to do anything right now in order to experience peace or focus or whatever you want in the future. It can only happen now. Your entire life is made up of this present moment. So the key is to be able to witness what is arising within your mind right now, be able to see it for what it is. It's just a thought. It's just thoughts arising within the present moment, arising, falling, right? It's just emotions that you're experiencing. They always come and go, right? You see that cycle. You see how it shifts from one thing to another. When you can be just more aware of them, you can realize that, like, okay, it's just a thought about me, like, judging myself, you know? It's just a thought about me being hard on myself because, you know, I wasn't focusing like how I wanted to. That's the key. Like, that is the ticket to you becoming more like who you really wanted to be, who you want to be right now. If you are truly ready to get on that path to you becoming who you want to be, and like you want to attack this bigger mission for yourself, then I put a link below to a free training that will walk you through step by step how to attain that for yourself. But if you're somebody who, like, you want to, like, maybe this was a big breakthrough for you and you want to realize, like, okay, how do I get out of my head? And how do I get out of this autopilot mode that I've been on, just always focusing on the same things? Then I'm going to link a video above for you to watch next. So I hope this helped you. You can like and subscribe this. Share it for anybody else who needs this. I appreciate you. And I'll see you in one of the videos or trainings now.